don't stop. I just finished the Leadership Development Pathway, and it got me thinking about my journey so far through Toastmasters. I'd like to try a little experiment with our members. Would everyone close their eyes? Now I want you to think about the first time you attended a Toastmasters meeting. Remember what the room looked like that you met in. Remember how the meeting was run. Did you speak at this meeting? Remember how you felt after the meeting. Now if you'd open your eyes, I hope this was a pleasant memory for all of us. Some of us, this was a long time ago that we attended our first meeting, over 20 years ago. And some of us, it might have been just last week when they attended their first meeting. I remember my first Toastmasters meeting. It actually was held at the building right across the street, the CDRC, the Community Development Resource Center. I worked on the second floor at that time in that building. And my boss asked me if I would be interested in attending a Toastmasters meeting. She did a lot of public speaking, and she used a lot of what I now know as filler words. So someone had suggested to her that she might attend this group, and it might help her with her speaking, not only in her regular meetings, but her Board of Supervisor meetings. So she invited me to go along with her. So I said, absolutely, this will be fun. So on the day of the meeting, we went downstairs to the meeting room. And I can remember going into the room, and it was set up so that there was a table right as you walked in with all kinds of literature. And I remember a very nice person there asking how we'd heard about Toastmasters. Why are you interested? You know, come on in, sign our book. This room was set up in big tables in a big rectangle, so everybody faced each other. And at the very end, or what you might call the head table, was a podium that everyone spoke at. This podium that everyone spoke at. I don't remember if I spoke that first meeting, but I do remember enjoying the time. I remember after I left being interested to find out what else happens, because I really felt lost after that first meeting, listening to everybody and just talking with my boss. But I remember thinking I'd like to go back and I'd like to learn more. Well, she wasn't able to attend the next week with me, but she encouraged me to go by myself. But I did. And for the next 6 years, I have been coming to Toastmasters every week. Of course, we've moved, we've grown, but I can remember faces in that room, faces that I see today. Kimber and Vina and Teresa and Ileana, and so many new faces too over the years. I just finished my second pathway, as I mentioned, leadership development. I'm working towards earning my DTM by the end of this year. There, I've said it, that's it. Now it's accountable. I have to fulfill. The Toastmasters Leadership Development Pathway focuses on developing leadership skills through a series of projects that covers areas like managing time, planning and executing projects, leading teams, and managing events. I thought this would be very interesting because these are things I do every day in this building where I work. Now, I've also managed a few events for Placer's Gold. My favorite, above all, are the open houses. I've managed and organized about 5 of those, I believe, so far. And the one last week was one of our latest open houses. We try to hold them twice a year. I've also held a few leadership positions in Placer's Gold. I'm currently the Vice President of Education, but I held the Vice President of Membership role for multiple times. I even took a shot at the presidency for 1 year, And I was an area director for 1 year, which is a district leadership role. After the 6 years, I've learned a few lessons, a few things that become important to me, not only in Toastmasters, but in my everyday personal life and my work life. Lesson number 1, your club members, they want to see you succeed. Nobody in this room or online wants to see you fail. It says right on our agenda that this is a safe place to fail. And it is. It's a safe place to try things out, to speak, and nobody is going to put you down because we're here to help each other and help ourselves at the same time. Lesson number 2, don't try to be perfect. If you try to be perfect, if you wait until every duck is in its row to give that speech, you're never going to give that speech. If you wait for everything to be perfect, in all honesty, you're never going to do anything because it's never perfect. You need to rise above that. Lesson number 3, internalize your speech. Do not memorize your speech. You need to feel that speech. You need to understand what you're saying so that when you get up in front of a group, you don't have to look at your notes every 2 minutes. You don't have to worry that if you forget something, it's okay. You know this speech, you feel, you live this speech. If you memorize it, you'll walk up here and you'll sound like a robot and you'll get all the words right, but everyone will be looking at you like we're looking at an AI version of the speech. And I can only say this because I've done it more times than I can put on these fingers. Number 4, I've learned the courage to step out of my comfort zone. My mentor told me a long time ago that we come to Toastmasters meetings to participate, to learn, to do something, not to sit on the sidelines in another meeting. She likes to say, we should just say yes first and then figure it out later. She's right, it works. This last October, I went to a work conference. And on the first day of the conference, they have what they call first timers meeting, where all the people that were at the conference for the first time got together and learned about what would happen, so we know what's going on. It was about 250 people in this room, big auditorium. And she asked if she could get volunteers to come up front and answer a question for her, to tell the whole group something that very few people knew about. And she asked you to be honest, dig deep and be honest. It can be anything. I'm not sure where Vina was in the back of my head, but all of a sudden, I'm raising my hand and let's go. Honestly, I knew nobody in the room, and they weren't going to know me, and they were never going to see me again. So I thought, what's the worst that could happen? Next thing I know, I'm up on the stage. She is letting me speak, and I tell everybody my very little known, don't want to call it a secret, but, and then she gives me a sticker. And on the top of the sticker, it says, fake it till you make it. We've all heard that, but that's crossed out. And in its place, in bold letters, it says, own it till you hone it. This would be basically the theme of our conference. We were all learning new things, a lot of AI at this conference. And even though we didn't know it yet or understand it all yet, we would own it until we would hone our skills. I have that sticker hanging in my office upstairs where I can see it. And what it reminds me of is not to own it. Every time I look at it, I remember going up on that stage. And what possessed me, it's not something I would normally do, but I did it. And I believe a lot of it comes from Toastmasters and from being here. My other part of courage came this year, when for the first time, after 6 years of club meetings, I decided to enter the International Speech Contest. Nobody in our club was running, I'm gonna be really honest with you. So I thought, well, you know what? At least I know I'll win one speech, won't I? And Vina keeps telling me, you don't have to go on. So I gave my speech, and lo and behold, I won. Me against me. Then I decided, okay, let's do the area contest. It was being held in my building. It was being held in the conference center I managed, so of course I'm gonna be here. So I thought, okay, let's do it one more time. And I won. I won first place, and I wish I brought my medal down, because I have it proudly displayed in my office too. Once I won that, then Kimber, who won the Tall Tales, came with me, and we went to the division contest. Now things got serious there, and that took courage. These people were good speakers. And you pulled numbers to find out when you would go. I like to go first. Let's go, let's get over, let's be done. I got to go dead last. So you get to listen to every other speaker, gets into your head how long it's going to take, how hard it's going to be. I think Elizabeth is probably having flashbacks to her own contest times. Yes. It's something that just has not left me yet. But I gave the speech, and I ended up 3rd place out of all the speakers. Really good speakers. I honestly thought I would just go home with nothing. I didn't go any further than that, but it sure gave me the bug. And if anybody here ever considers wanting to be in the speech contest, I suggest you give it some real thought. There's so much information online. That's how I did most of my studying, but it was well worth it. There's a quote attributed to Berta Lippert. The only time you should look back is to see how far you've come. So now I ask myself, how much further will I go? Oh, does anybody want to know what my quote secret was?
Sure.
I told at the contest or at the conference? It is a very little known fact because I tell very, very few people. But I was a cheerleader for the San Francisco 49ers, the senior, after I graduated from my senior year of college. Thank you.